Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shape the game. Brought to you by Fit to Curl, a sport-specific guide to training for the world's greatest game by 2010 Olympic gold medalist and Team Martin third, John Morris, with some assistance from me, Dean Gemmell. It's that time of year when nearly all curlers are saying, well, there's always next year, which means it's time to use the off-season to get ready. Follow one of the many programs in Fit to Curl, and you should see and feel the benefits when you step onto the ice next fall. Purchase your copy at fittocurl.com or at your favorite pro shop or curling equipment supplier. The longtime lead for Jeff Stoughton and part of the team that captured the 2011 Tim Hortons Brier, Steve Gould, welcome to The Curling Show.
Thanks very much for having me, Dean.
Welcome back, I guess, but let's start with a dose of reality for Leeds and me, Steve. Yesterday, Jeff Stoughton was on Primetime Sports with Bob McCown. Today, you're on The Curling Show with me.
Well, you know what? Probably more people tune into this than that McGowan guy. You're not wearing sunglasses right now, are you?
No sunglasses for me, no production assistance. Yeah, none of that. But
very good.
I don't think my numbers quite match up to McCowan's, but whatever, you know. As soon as guys win, it's hard for me to get them, and I'm down to you, Steve. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm just honored to be that low on the totem pole. At least I'm on the totem pole.
Yeah, that's it. You are. Hey, it's hard to believe that it's been 12 years between Brier wins for a player with Jeff's talent, and really 15 years for you since you were the fifth in '99.
Yeah.
Are you surprised it took this long?
You know what? I'm surprised it happened again, to be honest with you. I mean, the level of play, if we played this good in '96 or even in '99, we would have won for fun, right? And with the types of players that are coming out now, they're true athletes. The sweepers are better. The guys are all learning how to manage rocks better, ice conditions, and they're training year-round. So I'm actually surprised in some ways that it's happened again, but I also know that anytime you got the short little blonde guy throwing last year, your chances are pretty good.
You know, it's interesting you point out the difference. I mean, it's not that long ago, really, in terms of other sports, but the level of play really has increased exponentially, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and I mean that's part of that is equipment. The equipment changes. Obviously, like us, we're here at Ashland Curling Supplies. We've made huge strides in our shoes even over the last few years, as have our competitors. The brooms are a lot lighter. I remember when we won in '96, we were using a brownie broom.
No brownies.
And I don't even know if I could arm curl one of those now. They're so heavy compared to the carbon fiber brooms nowadays. And just with the guys training, they're watching video and they're all taking it serious and to a new level. And that's no different than any sport, to be honest with you. So we're just fortunate enough that we've been able to stay ahead of the curve, or at least keep up with the curve.
Yeah, you throw in things like better ice conditions too, and it really is something. You look at games 15 years ago, and it seems a bit like a different sport, and it's exciting to see it, how it's developed. Hey, much was made this year of return of John Meade to your lineup. Sometimes at the Brier, it annoyed me when they sort of acted like it was the first event he was back in with you guys when he's been playing all year. But with Kevin Park in the lineup the last few years, you guys, it wasn't as if you weren't in the mix. You were in the mix at everything, but obviously the chemistry is better, I think, with John and Jeff than it was with Kevin and Jeff. Mm-hmm. Was John signing on? Was that key to you coming back?
Yeah, it's funny when Jeff put the team together. Actually, he put the team together himself last March. He actually just asked Reed and phoned Rob, Kevin, and I, and said, "You know what, guys, I might be going different routes. If you guys want to do something different, go right ahead." And I said, "Well, I don't want to play with anybody else. Let's try to get Johnny, obviously." And one of the deals, I believe Johnny said, if I do sign back on, I want to play again with Steve as well. And what people don't really know, I guess, is Johnny and I grew up about a block from each other. He was at my brother's wedding party. They lost the World Junior Final in '87. Our kids are born 2 days apart. Our wives are friends, as well as Haley's wife, and Haley, Jeff's wife. We do camping together and whatnot, and we've been friends even for the 3 or 4 years that he was away from us. Jeff, John, and I would still throw rocks together at lunch, and I think what's really helped for Jeff, and one of the things he wanted to do is, obviously geographically, Rob and Kevin lived elsewhere. He really wanted to see his guys at lunch throwing, so that's been great. I pick Jeff up every day to throw rocks at lunch, and John and Reed meet us there. So, just maybe subconsciously, you know that your guys are throwing. Like, I never questioned whether my teammates were throwing in the past, but, I mean, maybe subconsciously now we know and can see that they're throwing, and if there are little things that we want to work on, maybe test some sweeping or test some weight controls or whatever, we can actually work on them now, and I think that's really been a huge thing for Jeff himself.
Interesting, in an era when so many teams are feature players from all over, partly by necessity. You guys are like an old school club team.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, obviously in life, everyone takes things a little differently. And I guess maybe for Jeff, he needed the comfort of having his guys around.
Well, you also had three pretty good guys to have around, right? That's part of it.
Yeah, and that's what's worked good. And we've made a point of, like John mentions Wayne Maddow quite a bit. And he's one thing he did learn from Wayne in the last few years is, you can go to the event and have no fun and maybe win, or you can go to the event and have lots of fun and maybe win. So we've kind of chose that route to have the most fun. And we look back at 96, we had the most fun then. 99, we had the most fun as well. And this year it was no different. So, I mean, when you're playing with teammates, your friends, and that you spend time with off the ice, it makes that extra special. Now, having said that, like you said earlier, we weren't totally out of the mix with Kevin and Rob. Those guys were fantastic teammates and fantastic players as well. And let's be honest, Dean, this event is not the easiest thing to win. So maybe if we play it next week, we don't win. But thank God we played it this week.
Yeah, you made that point elsewhere, and it's a good one. That with the little separation there is among the top four teams there. Maybe you throw guys like Brad Jacobs and Pat Simmons in the mix too. But clearly there was a delineation between the top four and the rest of the field. You guys must have been feeling pretty good all week, though. I mean, Jeff was playing so well, John was playing out of his mind, but there was one mistake, that shot against Brad Gushu, when you tried the double, and Steve, I got to say, I think you talked Jeff into it.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone is trying to throw me under the bus for that one, but I always yell down to Jeff and John. Like they do ask my opinion a lot. Johnny will just give me the look with his eyes, and because I do know them so well. And I just yelled down, "Just make it, buddy!" And now, if that means that I talked him into it, then I did. And it's funny because at the end of the end, Jeff apologized and said, "Boys, if I knew that I was going to double jam, I would never. Or I knew that if I knew that I could double jam, I would never have played that shot." And he goes, "Sorry about that, boys." He goes, "That was a mistake on my part." So Jeff's a big boy. Jeff takes responsibility for that shot and that throw, and by no means would he ever say, "Well, Steve talked me into that." In fact, a couple of reporters asked him about that after, and he just had a good chuckle. He said, "Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course, Steve talked me into it." So
yeah, as if you can talk him into anything, right? I bet.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, people don't know Jeff. You're not talking Jeff into a whole lot that he doesn't want to do.
Part of that, doesn't it stem from the fact you're playing front end for Jeff. You see him making everything. He's thinking about a shot. You're thinking just throw it and make it like you've made everything else this week, right? Yeah,
part of that too. Yeah. In fact, actually, when I yelled that down, Mark Nichols actually said to me, Stevie, he says, "You're showing too much confidence in your guy." And then, of course, we nut jam, and then, of course, the media is all over me that I...
Well, and even part of that is that's part of your job, to show confidence in your skipper when you're playing front end, right? I mean...
Yeah, it is, and I know when to yell stuff to Jeff and when not to. And, if I could do it all over again, I would yell it down exactly the same. So I don't have any regrets there.
Well, and in the end, it didn't really matter. So, there you go. Probably
it could have, though, and then
yeah, it could have.
Then the curling zone would be lighting up that there goes Gould again, so...
Hey, with winning the Tim Hortons Brier, of course, comes the responsibility of being Team Canada at a World Championship. It's wearing the maple leaf on the back, of course, is a huge thrill. Yeah. Also, that thing comes with a bit of weight attached to it as well. Has that reality set in?
For us, we're fortunate that we have done it before, and we do just play for the six of us. And when I say the six of us, Garth and Norm have been a huge part of our success as well. And yeah, it's an honor more than a weight on our back. Anytime you can wear the maple leaf and represent your country, your family, your coworkers, your friends, it's an honor. So we're just going to go out there. We're going to relish the moment, enjoy the moment, and we're going to play pretty darn good, I would suspect.
You talk about the playing there, and I know non-curlers would think winning a trip to Regina 5 hours down the road is when the guys last year went to Cortina, Italy, would be a tough deal, but for you guys, the chance to play in Canada, and you're also a team that really doesn't travel outside of Canada to play, couldn't be a better location, I don't think, outside of maybe Winnipeg.
Well, yeah, for us it's fantastic. Just in the little things that people don't realize. I've got a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old son that 2 boys. They both want to go, right? Well, my wife, obviously, for her to have them there for the entire week is a lot of work. So John's in the same boat, and so is Jeff. So I think what's going to happen is the kids are going to be able to come for the first few days, experience a bit of a world championship with their dads and moms, and the wives are going to be able to bring them back and then still go back and enjoy it. Well, if you're going to Europe, going to Switzerland, I'm not sure that would be a viable option.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to think for any curler, a world championship in Canada is the one you want to play in.
Yeah, we played. We were lucky enough in '96 to play in Hamilton, and '99 in St. John, New Brunswick, and the support in both those places was wonderful. But I think having Saskatchewan right next door to Manitoba, I think it's really going to blow us away. Like I know Reed was saying to me, "Gee, Steve, it finally sunk in." He told me on the flight home. I said, "No, it didn't, Reed." I said, "It won't sink in until you're getting piped out there at the opening ceremonies as Team Canada." I said, "There's 6,000 people cheering for you." I said, "That's when it'll sink in, buddy." So I mean, it's a little surreal right now. Obviously a lot of phone calls, a lot of interviews, lots of support, and we're just thrilled to be playing in front of our home country, just like you said.
Yeah, I think part of my point is, too, I think even curlers from other countries would rather play in Canada than elsewhere. We're in a world championship. You get the big crowds and everything else. Hey, let's talk about the final in London quickly. It was over pretty early. You guys were playing so well. It didn't seem in doubt for, you're playing Glenn Howard. Of course, we've seen them come back from deficits actually pretty nicely in big games. But my sense was, just judging from the, I thought your celebration after the win, the initial celebration was classy in that it was somewhat subdued, and my sense was that your team might have liked to beat any other team but Glenn's in that final.
Well, that's 100% true. I mean, you say it wasn't in doubt, but you just got to keep working, and we were just saying keep working, keep back checking. You guys, we're not done yet. These guys are not going to go away, and Jeff made the double, and my first reaction was, okay, I got to go shake their hands because I don't want to jump around like a maniac and disrespect them, because I don't think they would disrespect us, because they're 4 classy individuals and 4 classy friends. In fact, Glenn Howard has emailed all of us a couple times since, and with some kind words. And I was happy to see Glenn make it to the final, just because if we couldn't go to the World Championships, I'd wholeheartedly be cheering for him. And basically that's what he said in our email. So, it's tough when you beat friends, but it's also nice in the same regard because, they shook our hand, wished us luck, and I feel that they were 100% genuine.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was all handled pretty well. I mean, including Glenn, interviewed by Brian Mudryk shortly after and did that, and it's got to be tough with the runner-up finishes they've had.
Yeah.
Hey, this Brier really reinforced the fact that, been pretty obvious for a number of years, but real separation between the top teams who qualified Capital One Grand Slams and the rest of the field at a Brier. I think, sure, there was the separation of the top 4. I think, Jacobs and Simmons in a different week might get in the mix.
Sure.
But with the results from this year's Brier, do you look at it and do you think it's time to move to a relegation system and Team Canada?
If you ask me that today, I got a different answer than if you ask me tomorrow. I'm not entirely sold on the Team Canada idea, but I'm not. Jeff had a good point last night, like you said on prime time. We're Team Canada for 2 weeks. It really would be cool to be Team Canada for one season. How you go about that process, I'm not sure. Also, the fact that you get to these events and you got the different provinces, territories, and whatnot. It's still a lot of people attend these things, from all over the country. And I think if we did, do the relegation, I think in the long run it may hurt the game. But I'm thinking out loud right now. Maybe it would help. I don't know. So
I'm sort of with you, actually. I'm conflicted. I'm not crazy about a Team Canada, but there's certainly games at the Brier that were less than stellar, but what the heck, maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I mean,
it's no different. The NHL, you look at you've got some teams that are powerhouses all the time, and then you got some teams that for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's because of money or whatnot, or and then every now and then you still get the odd story. Look at Jamie Cooey. Like, let's be honest, that team should never ever beat Kevin Martin. And wow, he had the old bear sweating, didn't he? And so, I mean, you'd miss that story too. I mean, so.
Right. Yeah, you get a 1-10 team against Kevin Martin and they almost win. I mean, that is part of it. I think it like the Masters. The Masters in golf doesn't have the best field, but it's probably the best tournament. So.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, you touched a little bit on equipment and how it's improved, over the years, and I think that's been key. Of course, at Asham, you guys have really introduced a lot of innovations. I think the guys at Balance Plus have introduced a lot of innovations.
Sure.
Equipment makers everywhere, performance brushes, all that.
Absolutely.
Kudos to everyone. I think on the equipment front, I always try to push curlers to buy new equipment and everything else.
Yeah.
But Steve, I couldn't help but notice that the top 3 teams were using those EQ heads, including yours.
Yeah, it's funny. I got interviewed right after the Canada Cup, and I hadn't tried them yet. And Glenn Howard won the Canada Cup using them, so we thought, well, why don't we give these things a shot? And when we really noticed a difference with them is at the beginning of a game. Actually, they're actually a bit of a detriment. We were playing the Grand Slam semifinal actually against Glenn, and he threw a center guard, and I went to go around it. I was a little light. And possibly a little bit wide, but the guy swept it the entire sheet and it didn't curl an inch, and literally not an inch. And I mean, so it was wide open by 4 feet. I mean, I've been known to throw the odd rock wide, but not by 4 feet. And so what we actually try to do is use them in practice and don't use brand new ones to start the game. And we've liked them. They're a great innovation, and I mean, obviously we won a few games with them recently, but yeah, it's. I didn't realize the GU was using them until I read that in the paper the other day as well. So. Yeah,
well, I mean, if you're a careful observer, could see the EQ on the heads. But actually, my own team, what we found, if you break out a new one in the middle of a game, it grabs the ice. We actually burned a rock this year because it grabs on the way in.
Oh, it is funny. I mean, I broke my elbow in December, and we were playing in Vernon about a week later, so. I was unsure whether I was going to be able to sweep because it was pretty painful. So we went out there and I just did a light clean just to get the sweeping motion. And like you say, it grabbed the pebble and it had a mind of its own.
It goes off all squirrely like when it's brand new.
And I said to John, I said, try this. He goes, what? I said, just do a light clean on this. And he went, whoa. So of course Jeff does, and yeah, it was fun. It's funny you say you burnt one because we said, geez, you got to be careful because you may burn one. So. You're the first guy I heard that has actually burned one, but yeah, you definitely have to be a little bit careful. It's got a different surface to it, that's for sure.
Well, I'm fully capable of burning plenty of rocks, but I'd have to say it was actually my teammate who did it that time. But it's
oh yeah, you're throwing your teammate under the bus.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, although I burned plenty myself, unfortunately. But yeah, it's funny how it grabs. You got to give it at least 20 strokes or so to sort of break it in there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We try to use it like our 10-minute practice before the game. We try to have a couple good sweeps in there just to wear it down so that if the other team does throw the center guard and I go around it and I'm a little light and the guys have to hit it, I don't look too foolish.
Interesting. Hey, Manitoba, the strength of field out there. You guys have heard a lot the last few years about everybody's in Edmonton and you got Cooey, Furby, Martin out in Edmonton plus everybody else. Well, now you might say that the top 2 teams in the country, you and Mike McEwen, are both in Winnipeg, and maybe the top 2 teams in the world if you go by most standards. Feel good?
Yeah, it's really neat. I mean, part of our success this year is obviously how well Mike and his team played last year, as well as this season, because we knew that we'd have to be on top of our game to beat them. And I don't know if you were able to see our provincial final, but we put on quite a performance there as well, and again, we were real close game with Mike, and they're true champions already. They're like you say, the top in the world right now, by CTRS standards as well as money, and it's real neat. I know for us, it's a challenge to beat those guys, and I'm sure they look forward to dethroning us, very soon. So, yeah, it's nice. I mean, let's face it, there's a few provinces with some. Real tough teams. I mean, Glenn's been winning the last 5-6 years out of Ontario too, but I mean, there's 5 or 6 teams that are capable out there as well. So.
Yeah, I think some people underestimate Ontario. To be honest, I think once you get past, I mean, they see Wayne and Glenn, and you got 2 super teams usually, and then but I think the field that's cut below that's pretty darn good too.
Yeah, you got Baldson and Epping and Corner can play, and probably Matchett. Higgs now. I'm probably missing someone, so no disrespect. But
that's a pretty good wrap-up of the OCT there. And, of course, Greg Baldwin was your super spare this year, too.
Yeah, wasn't he? He was great. He got called in pretty high intense situation there and performed excellent. And he enjoyed it, and we enjoyed having him around. And that's good for a guy like that. He actually texted. He lost the final, right? And
yeah.
He sent me a message after saying that he feels that playing with us just that one game helped him in his preparation for the Ontario Championships.
Well, I was actually in Whitby at the spiel that Greg was playing in, and I noticed that night he left half an hour earlier than usual. So that's when we started to believe him, because he was telling everybody in the club, and no one was really believing him that he was going to be playing with you the next day.
Well, that's fine. I actually wanted to go with 3 that game, and I got outvoted badly by Jeff, John, and Reed. So I said, you can't just throw a guy in the final on national television and expect the guy to play well. And they said, well, we need that extra sweeper, and then we got a guy that's a skip to the play.
You got a real power brusher there in ballsy.
Yeah. See, he might burn the odd rock. I'm not sure he bends the broom very hard, but nonetheless, he's a hell of a shooter.
Yeah, he's a hell of a shooter, and he faked it well in that game with the brush, anyways.
Yeah, sure. We just put him on the outside and said, just don't hit my broom, please.
There you go. All right, Steve, we finished with the run back. I give you a topic, and you give me your thoughts in 1 to 3 words.
Okay.
Ford awarding a 2-year lease instead of the whole damn car to the Hot Shots winner.
Still good, but not what it used to be.
Yeah, can they that's a difference of about $15,000. Just pony up there, Ford. Come on, give him the car. How about John Mee's rare double during the last Capital One Grand Slam in Oshawa?
Rare double.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
I think it's the first time a curler has used anus and strap-on in the same interview.
Oh, my gosh, with George Carey's there. That is incredible. John Mead, sharp.
Yeah, that was sharp, all right. Yeah, if he runs for political office one day, like his former skip out there, that might be a problem for him.
I bet.
But how about Ryan Fry's comments about Randy Furby?
A little excessive.
Ryan can be a little excessive sometimes, though, can he? You played with him.
Yeah, he's a good friend, and he was sticking up for his man. And there's other ways to do it, but what people are forgetting is Randy did say something first in the paper. So
he did. Yeah, Randy said they quit on him, which certainly is incendiary at best, right?
Absolutely.
Randy Furby and Dave Nedowin's new lineup next year.
Don't know it.
Yeah, it's Ted Appelman and Brendan Melnick, I think.
Oh wow, they'll be great.
Yeah, I don't understand these brothers in curling. They can't curl together after a while. I never understand it, but I don't have a brother, and I don't quite get it though. But.
Well, if I curled with my brother, we'd be eating too many nachos. I can only put up with them for about 3 weeks a year. So
there you go. How about
I get it.
How about your brother's dietary needs?
Nacho normie. Well, that would be like the pot calling the kettle black. I own a television, so. I'm not the one to be giving any dietary tips.
Yeah, well, hopefully they got a steady supply of nachos for him in Regina. That was good stuff.
I'm sure they'll take care of him, yeah.
How about the bronze medal game at the Brier?
Unnecessary, but TV numbers and fans seem to like it.
Yeah, I think you're stuck with it now, my friend. Surprisingly entertaining and big numbers they posted. So,
how
about Mark Nichols' break from the game?
Classy guy. I hate to see him leaving, but it'll be a short break.
Yeah, I say I give him a year away at most.
Yeah, I give him 6 months. When's the summer over in Newfoundland?
Yeah, he's sparing for you guys next January probably. So. How about the future of nuclear power?
Oh, man, isn't that scary?
Yeah, boy, those poor people in Japan right now, they are.
Yeah, here we are. We're celebrating life, and the reality kicks in.
Yeah, I told my daughter this morning when I took her to school, no complaining about anything from either of us right now.
That's right.
So, and finally, fake Jeff Stoughton.
Fantastic. Love it. I want to know who it is, but I don't because I think it'll be ruined. But that is unbelievable. I just love it.
It's brilliant stuff. Fake Jeff Stoughton, I think, is the second best. Fake Kevin Martin is.
We were in our hotel room every night checking it out, and we're trying to figure out who it is just out of curiosity. But I have to say that we laughed quite hard at a lot of it. Jeff loves it.
Well, I've invited fake Kevin Martin to come on the podcast. I told him I'd disguise his voice like they do on 60 Minutes with the Mafia guys, but
okay.
He hasn't agreed, or she hasn't agreed, or whoever it is. But I'll throw the same thing out to fake Jeff Stoughton. Just shoot me an email. And
I got a question for you. How could you interview yourself, Dean?
How could I interview myself? No, I wish that was me, man. I can write pretty well, but damn, those are good.
Well, it's witty, and whoever it is in the know, because I don't know, some of the stuff that they come up with, they're at the event for sure. I thought it was Bob Weeks, but he vehemently denies it for sure. But I guess everyone's going to deny it, right? I think it's got to be a guy who plays a bit, but I don't know. I mean, Pete Stesky, that's one of my best. We had a beer with Pete there at the Brier, and we asked him as well.
He denied it?
Oh, of course he did, but Pete, right? He's got time on his hands too.
He's got time on his hands, and he's got some wit. So
yeah, he does have wit for sure.
And they just nailed the best thing about fake Jeff Stoughton and fake Kevin Martin is they've nailed the personalities so well, right? Like, it's just
absolutely.
The ones that there's a couple other ones out there that sort of jumped the shark, but those two are brilliant. So
wonderful.
We'll have them on. It's not me though, I got to say. Hey, Steve, before I go, of course, I always let everybody mention their sponsors. Now you got to throw the Government of Canada in there too, my friend. But who else is behind you guys?
Yeah, well, we've got Pauly West, Geldwin, Ashland Curling Supplies, Performance, Air Canada, Mondetta. Boy, you threw me on. You got your Windows guy in there. Canadian Sports Center. What? I'm probably forgetting someone here. We got Skechers. They give us some Spar Marathon. We're going to get some new sponsors from next year. I understand Cialis has been trying to get a hold of us, so hopefully they'll come on board too.
They're looking at all those a couple of guys in their 40s, and you almost in your 40s, right? They're like,
that's right. I can't forget Granite Hills Golf Course. They're good as well. So.
All right. I was just going to go on your. Tell you what, Steve. I'm going to go on your website here and tell you who you missed. Granite Hills, Spar Marathon Roofing Supplies. You got them in there.
I got them. Yeah.
Brushes. Yeah, Special T-shirt company. Yeah, I miss them. Specialty. They do all our embroidery. Skechers. Yeah, our shoes, yeah. You got them, and Pauly West you got. All right. Geldwin and Pauly West, those are the ones you really want to mention, I think. Those are our big kahunas, yeah. They take really good care of us, and we're very fortunate for a number of years to have had some great sponsors. All right, Steve, well, listen, congratulations. It was a great week for your team. It was a good Brier. It was a lot of fun to watch, and good luck in Regina. Dean, I always appreciate your call, your interviews, and I enjoy listening to your program all the time. Thanks very much for the invite. All right, you're very kind, Steve. Thanks. That's Steve Gould on The Curling Show, a conversation that we had just a few days after his team captured the Tim Hortons Brier title. Whether you hope to win a Brier, the sea flight at your club, or a toaster at the Funspiel, pick up a copy of Fit to Curl by John Morris and start following a training program. The book is available at fittocurl.com and at Better Curling Pro Shops. And before I sign off, a quick word of congratulations to Janice Langanki's team from my own club, the Plainfield Curling Club in South Plainfield, New Jersey, who won the U.S. Women's Club Nationals. That's like the Dominion Club Championship in Canada, that was played recently in Mankato, Minnesota. It was a great week for Janice and her team of Rachel Howell, Shara Delator, and Barb Klug, and it was another highlight in a very successful season for our two-sheet, 280-member club. Yes, you heard that right, 2 sheets and over 280 members. And we have a waiting list. Little wonder we're trying to figure out how to increase curling capacity in the Garden State. Call me, email me if you have ideas. Don't you know it's hard for me to see things that I cannot find? How can I tell if it's a dream or just all in my mind?